This is the American Dream, Selling Colorado. I'm your host, Rachel Folger, and today we are in beautiful Lyons, Colorado, known as the gateway to the Rocky Mountains. This picturesque town has seen its fair share of challenges over the years, but time and time again, it comes out stronger. 10 years ago, in September 2013, Colorado was hit by one of the worst natural disasters in our state's history. A catastrophic flood swept through the state, leaving a trail of destruction and despair. The floodwaters spread across a range of almost 200 miles from north to south, affecting 17 counties. Here in Boulder County, we were hit the worst, with reports of 20 inches of rain falling in 2 days, $4 billion in property destruction, and the loss of 9 lives. This is the story of the 2013 Colorado floods, a tale of resilience, community, and the strength of the human spirit. Today, let's meet one of those residents. I'm here with Reverend Emily Flemming, who was living in Lyons at the time of the floods. So Emily, there's something significant about these doors. What can you tell us?
Yes, after the flood of 2013, when the church took on so much groundwater swelling, lots of our wooden elements were expanding and sticking. So 2 longtime church members, Janie and Zeke Little, decided that we needed a better way to welcome people to Lyons Community Church. So Zeke is a master woodworker and hand craftsman. He builds violins from scratch, and he crafted these doors in his studio just a few miles away and hung them after the flood as a way to help us better welcome the community. This church has always found it very important to be focused on the community's needs. So we're actually a United Methodist Church, but we changed our name to Lyons Community Church before the flood so that we could welcome the whole community in. We started a food pantry in 2008 with just 6 or 8 families who were in need. But after the flood, we were serving 40 to 50 families a week. So every Wednesday afternoon, we would open the church doors. I'd be here all day to sit with people, to pray with people. The food pantry was running downstairs so that people could be fed. And we just partnered with the Lyons Community Foundation to create a new organization called the Lyons Emergency Assistance Fund, or LEAF for short. That organization is still in operation 10 years later, still feeding and serving our community. It's a great legacy of something beautiful that was born out of the chaos of the flood.
Emily, tell me what your life looked like 10 years ago in 2013.
Sure, I was a newlywed. We had a new baby who was 6 weeks old when we moved to Lyons. And 6 weeks later, this river that we're beside rose 9 feet in a 500-year flood, destroying about 100 homes in our town. We only had about 2,000 to 2,500 people in town, so it was a big loss in our housing stock. It was a very scary time, and some people lost everything. We could see the trauma happening amongst us, even as some people had very little damage or very little impact. It was very difficult.
And you were newly pastoring your first church.
Yes, so I had been at Lyons Community Church for 6 weeks when I got a call in the middle of the night from the Lyons town administrator that she was opening the church as the first evacuation point for the flood. I took a bunch of my grandmother's quilts, and wrapped them around people with love as we prayed for them and waited to hear about their friends and neighbors.
Why do you think that the people of Colorado are so strong and able to rebuild and be so resilient in the face of tragedy?
I think that we all really showed up for each other as much as we could before, during, and definitely after the disaster.
We've got grit.
Amen.
The floods were a tragedy that tested the strength and the resilience of the Colorado people. In the face of disaster, they proved that when neighbors help neighbors and when communities come together, they can overcome even the most challenging of circumstances. I'm Rachel Folger, and this is the American Dream, Selling Colorado.